With Tithely Giving, churches can receive donations from virtually anywhere. 6 different ways to give means giving just got a whole lot easier. The free mobile giving app allows anyone to give in just a few seconds. Users can designate a donation to more than one fund, make a special one-time gift, or set up automated gifts. And keep in mind that people who sign up for recurring gifts give an average of 42% more per year than those who don't. That's good news for churches. There's also text giving, website donations, check scanning for those who still like to give the old-fashioned way, and a tool that allows church staff to process credit cards as well as record cash and check giving. Tithely Giving can even transform a tablet or laptop into a mobile giving kiosk. Now with the redesigned app in web form, Tithely Giving is only getting better. And because giving is connected to the entire Tithely product line, it's more powerful than ever before. Did someone donate for the first time or make a large gift? Trigger automatic notifications so you can send a quick note of thanks. Need help generating year-end giving statements for your entire congregation? Tithely Giving makes tax reporting quick and easy. Does your church use QuickBooks? Tithely Giving integrates directly with QuickBooks to save you hours of accounting time. And when you update account information in one place, it flows seamlessly across the entire Tithely platform of tools built to help you run your church. Giving to your church should be meaningful, simple, and fast. That's why we built a complete set of digital giving tools for your church. Get started today for free.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in to our Tithely University. I'm so happy you guys could make it. As everyone is joining on in, so thankful everyone could be here. We have Maggie and myself. We'll do some introductions here in just a second. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick video, a little bit about everything that Tithely has to offer on the giving side. As we come on in, we would love to hear from all of you and hear a little bit of some participation. So let us know where you're joining from. And it is fall outside. I'm located in Kentucky, and we're getting just a few short days of fall, which is amazing. So let us know where you're joining from, and then what's your favorite fall activity. So jump in the chat. Where are you joining from, and favorite fall activity? Awesome. Yes, it is so nice outside. I feel like we're getting just a few days of fake fall before it turns back super hot. Hiking, college football. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Maggie? Is it cooling down a little bit where you are?
So Columbia, South Carolina has subscribed to eternal summer. So very hot.
Always hot, always hot. Yeah, I feel like even in winter you go to South Carolina and it's still humid.
Absolutely. So if you ever get sick and tired of the cold weather, come and see us in South Carolina.
Yeah, there you go. Well, good deal. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for the participation, everyone. We are going to go ahead and jump on in just to get going on our tax statements webinar. So thankful everyone could take a second and join us. Let me pivot screens over here just so I have it all. Good deal. So as we get going, as you saw in the invitation, we are going to focus today on giving statements. What can you do now to make your life easier in 3 months? That's kind of the question we're going to run at today. Hopefully we'll be able to answer that for you. If you are on this call, you are ahead of the game. You guys know what's going on. You know that tax statements just can be really hard to get through. And so it's really our goal to be by your side and for your growth as you're working through using the Tithely giving system and running some tax statements. We love this motto here within our customer experience department to be always walking beside you as a customer. And then really our goal is just, this is for your growth, to see your church prosper, to see you accomplish your mission in your local community. And so we are by your side and for your growth. Some of our core values that we have here within customer experience is first, we are customer centric. Customers are number one. Everything you do, everything you need is the top of our mind. And so we are completely customer centric. We always strive to be innovative, finding new ways to approach old questions, finding out new ways to meet your needs, always striving to be transparent. So if there's anything good or not so good that happens, we want to be completely transparent in all of that and making sure you know our heart behind what we do. We are solution motivated. Man, your success is our success. This kind of gets into the last one, partnered and invested in your success. We love to see you reach your goals. We love to see solutions put in place. And when you succeed, we succeed. So these are some of our core values. Just the heart of our team is to work for you and for your local church. And so I hope you feel that from everything that we do. That is just baked into, like, everything down to our org charts here at Tithely. It's baked into for your benefit, to work for you, as we are so customer centric. So hope you feel that through everything that we do. So that's a little bit about our success team, and our entire customer experience department. And here is a little bit about us. And so today, my name is Mark. I manage our success department here at Tithely. And then we have, like I said, I am coming from Murray, Kentucky, small town Kentucky. One of the joys of remote work, get to live anywhere, right? So Maggie, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us, I know you said, you already told us once, but tell us where you're coming from.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So I am originally from Vienna, Austria, and I got married to this crazy American that brought me back here to the US about, I think, 12 or 13 years ago now. So we live in Columbia, South Carolina. My husband is a pastor, so that's how we got connected with Tithely, as customers first. And then last year, I was blessed to join the Tithely team on the onboarding team, and just recently moved over to the support side of things this summer. So really excited to be joining you guys today and sharing a little bit about good old giving statements.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks so much, Maggie. So like Maggie said, she was a customer first and then became an employee of Tithely. That is so common amongst everyone that's working at Tithely. We all have a heart for the local church. We started out as those pastors and leaders, and we just fell in love with the Tithely product and ended up working here. So that's great. Thanks, Maggie. So all right. I want to go ahead and just point out this is all of the products that Tithely offers at this point in time. I know if you're a Tithely customer, you may use one of these, two of these. If you use all of these, that's amazing. But these are all the products that we do offer. We offer a large suite of products to meet a lot of different needs in your church. You may find a time when you may use one or more of these. But I just want to go ahead and put all of these in front of you, right? We have them broken down into our finance suite, our comm suite, and our CHMS suite. So within finance, we have giving, check scanning, pay, which is that point of sale, integrations, and pledge campaigns. Today, we're going to be focusing on that giving side of things. Then we have comms, we have messaging, sites, apps, media. So these are all the ways in which you interact online with with the people at your church, with your congregation. And then we have CHMS. So these are all the back end products that really work to help you move your church forward, help you operate your church behind the scenes. We have people, background checks, events, worship, Breeze, and Elvanto. And so we're going to be focusing on giving today within our finance suite, and then we will also be looking within Elvanto also on how to run those giving statements. If you have joined and you have Breeze as your CHMS program, we are actually going to have another webinar. We're going to focus specifically on how to run those Breeze statements. We'll be sending out some comms about that in the coming weeks. Today, we're going to focus on the Tithely side and on the Elvanto side on how to run those giving statements and some best practices around all of that. So these are our product suites. Wanted to get them in front of you. If you have any questions on any one of these and you would like to know just a little bit more about those, just email our team. You can email us at support@tithes.ly. You can ask us any questions. We'll be happy to get back with you on any of those questions. So Um, as we go along today, we're going to be covering quite a bit of material. And I know that you may be taking notes and you may be struggling to remember, but don't worry, this is being recorded and this is actually going to be automatically sent to you right after this call is over. You will get a recording of this. So feel free, sit back, relax, take it all in, and then you can review the recording later. And also, as we go along, if you have any questions at all, I want to go ahead and say this. If you have any questions at all, in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you should see a little box with a question mark that says questions underneath it. If you have any questions as we go ahead and drop your question in there, and we will have a time for Q&A at the very end where we will actually address some of those questions. All right. Alrighty, so some goals today. This is just what we want to accomplish. We want to answer the question of what do you need to do today to make your life easier in 3 months? We want to make sure that tax statements are easy, pain-free. So what do you need to do today to make your life easier here in 3 months? Learn how to run tax statements in both Elvanto and in Tithely. So we're going to actually go through the nuts and bolts of exactly how to run those tax statements, just so you know that early. And then just learn some best practices from us here at Tithely. We have watched people run just thousands and thousands of people run tax statements. And so we have some best practices that we're going to talk about. And so we'll have those at the end also. So these are some of our goals. Hopefully we'll be able to accomplish them. And hopefully it's why you've joined us today. A quick announcement here before we do jump into the real content is Tithely Next. We have Tithely Next coming up here in just over a month. On October 20th, Maggie is dropping in a link of how to register for Tithely Next. They are giving away some really incredible prizes. I don't know, Maggie, if you've seen this, but man, I would love to be a Tithely customer at this and come to this Tithely Next event. They're giving away Amazon gift cards, all access plans, all kinds of stuff. So go ahead and register, get your name in the running for some of those free prizes. And please join us. Tithely Next is a product release event that Tithely does every so often. And so please feel free and join us and see what is coming next for Tithely. All right. So we're going to jump on in. Hopefully you've had a second to settle in, grab you a cup of coffee, and we're going to get going with some of our content. So as we get going, I just wanted to start with some quick tips. As you are running your giving statements at your, as you're running your giving statements at your church, just some things to know up front that we always like to recommend as you are doing this. And so the first one is to do a quick audit of your integrated accounts. You may have several different integrated accounts. Maybe you have Breeze connected, maybe you have Alvanto connected, maybe it's CCB or whatever your account may be integrated through. You may be doing giving through Tithely and then doing church management through something else. Regardless of what that is, we always say that it is best practice to go ahead and be just doing a quick audit of those accounts. This can look many different ways. Maybe this is just you spot checking on both sides of it, pulling up a certain date range and making sure the transactions are in Tithely and the transactions are in your integrated software. Just making sure maybe you're looking at one person and looking at that one person in Tithely and looking at that one person in your integrated software. So this can look many different ways, but we just encourage you to go ahead and be looking and making sure those align. Our system runs with a high percentage of confidence that the integration is going to work. But of course, you have software and technology is not always perfect. And so we do encourage you to go ahead and be looking between those, making sure everything's there, because we don't want to be caught in January when you're on a deadline and you're wanting to go ahead and send those tax statements, and then you feel like you need to go ahead and be auditing, and that takes some time. So really upfront, one of my biggest tips today is be auditing those integrated accounts and make sure that everything looks good there and all the transactions have moved over. My second quick tip here is start using 2.0 if you're not already. If you've been a Tithely customer for a little while, you have noticed that we have moved from our 1.0 system into our 2.0 system. This just brings just a powerhouse of resources and new technology, and it's a new platform that brings to life all of the power that Tithely truly has to offer. And so you have our 2.0 system, which is what I'm going to be walking through today on how to view your giving statements. But you also have 2.0 integrations. So these are new rebuilt integrations. So if you are integrating any software, be using that 2.0 integration. And so you'll be seeing that, that integration area over here. If I can show you, you'll see this by coming down here and clicking this little profile icon and clicking integrations. And that's where you connect those new integrations. I do encourage you to do that if you have not already. That is just going to ensure that you're getting the best possible experience. And the last thing is decide where you're going to run tax statements out of. This is going to be specific to your church. This is going to change based upon how you use our program. But are you going to run those statements out of Alvanto? Or are you going to run those statements out of Tithely? Are you going to run them out of Breeze? Or are you going to run them out of Tithely? We always do recommend that you run your statements where all of your information is located at. So let's say, for example, you're using Alvanto and you're putting cash and check donations, those manual recordings, you're putting those directly into Alvanto, and then you have your integration set up. So you'll run all your tax statements out of Alvanto because that's where all of the financial transaction history is. But if you're putting all of the cash and check into Tithely, you want to go ahead and run those statements out of Tithely. If you're not recording cash and check information and you want to run those out of Tithely, that's great. Also, just deciding where you're going to run those out of, and making a plan surrounding that. So as we're diving in, those are some of my first quick tips. As I have watched thousands of people run tax statements, these are some of the things that came to the top of my mind first as some things that I would recommend taking care of just right out of the gate. So hopefully they are helpful to you. All right, we're going to dive into Tithely giving and how to run the tax statements. And so if you are new to Tithely and you have never done this before, you may be overwhelmed at the idea of how to actually run a tax statement. But I'm here to tell you that it is actually very simple, and you're going to see that throughout my demonstration today. So I'm going to be walking through exactly how to run those tax statements, how to see them, some best practices around them, and everything like that. Again, if you have questions, please drop those in the question box in the lower right-hand corner as we go along. Those can be really specific, as why'd you click that button, or why did you do that date range, or anything like that. Please ask us. We would love to help. We have some expertise here in being able to watch people do these so often. And so yeah, diving into Tithely giving, running those tax statements. Some of the main things I'm always going to say, we're going to set a date range. It's really this simple. Set a date range, set the settings, see the new statement batches. And so I'm going to go ahead and go on over to my other screen here, and we're actually going to run those statements together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to find yourself in the Tithely giving area. And so you're there when you have this blue bar running up and down the left-hand side of your screen, and you'll be on the giving area. Some of those other products that I mentioned earlier, you'll see those running up and down your screen here or in this more area, but you'll know you're there when you see you're in this giving area. You'll see giving here and all of this information here. Hopefully yours would not have this red bar running across the bottom. That's because this is a demo account. But if you do have a red bar, by the way, go ahead and click on that link to go ahead and verify your account. Just a little plug there from our team. But you're in the giving area here. You'll be on the dashboard. Just a side note, this is a really incredible place for you to see some high-level analytics of your account, see how total giving is going, see all of the gifts. I love this percentage recurring. Of course, this is a demo account, so it's 0%, but we would hope to see that number a lot higher on yours. So percentage recurring, one time versus recurring. There's a lot of good data in here. So I encourage you to look around in here, set those date frames, and see what information you can get. Coming down from dashboard, you're going to see transactions. And so this is going to be all of the transactions that do come into your account. You can run different views, different filters here. You can show different columns, whatever you're wanting to see. You know, we can put those in there. We can drag those around, whatever you're wanting. You're going to be able to view all of that information. You can download that easily. anything like that. But this is just a list of all those transactions, right? If I was to come in here and I click on this and I can actually view the information on that, this is just viewing all of those transactions. If you wanted to sort by and look by a certain person, you can just type that information in there. It's going to pull all of that up. But this right here, this is just looking at all of your transactions together. What we're actually going to focus on is tax statements. And so that is where you're actually going to run those statements that could be emailed or mailed to your donors as a record for tax purposes. So you're going to click on tax statements over here on the left-hand side. And our developers have really worked hard to make sure this is as easy, simple, pain-free as possible. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start by creating a new batch. You're going to see first a section that says new batch and previous batches. So previous batches are where it would remember where like any past batches that you had created, and you could quickly click on those and regenerate them. So you'll see here, as I click on that, it's going to easily pull that up where you can view the statements. But for you, you will probably come in here and click on new batch, but I will come back to this previous batches at the end and show you exactly what that is for. So you're going to start with a year. If you pull in just the year, if you click on 2022, this is going to pull in every transaction that happened in 2022. January 1 to December 31, it's going to pull in every transaction. Let's say, for example, for some reason you want to do another date range, you can put in a custom date range. So let's say you're wanting to, just run for the quarter. So if you wanted to run the quarter, Q4, you could do that. You could set up those specific ones or whatever. Totally up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm going to run for all of 2022 just to see the statements. And then you can set by location. Now, many of you probably will only have one location, but if you do have more than one location, you can run those here by choosing the different locations that you have. After you do that, you're going to click on New Statement Batch. Go ahead and click that, and then it's going to walk you through this wizard of building out your tax statements. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to choose if you want to send those by household or by individual. So a lot of people will run, if Bob and Sally are married, they're going to get one statement. You can do that, or you can do it by individual. For the sake of the presentation, I'm going to do by individual, but you can organize people in your people area by household, and then you can run those statements by household, and it'll bundle all of those together for the household. I'm going to run by individual, and then I'm going to continue to my cover letter. So this is where you can put in any type of information you want, okay? So here, let's say 2022 giving statement from First Christian Church. And then you can put in, if you don't put in anything, it's just going to say this text right here. This is your official receipt for income tax purposes, but you can put anything in here that you want. So totally up to you. So you can say this is your official tax statement. Thank you for donating this year to our church. It's always great here. We always recommend that you do just a quick, wrote church twice. Just to do a quick note of appreciation. A lot of times donors miss that piece where you're actually coming out and thanking them for what they're doing and the money that they're giving. So giving them a quick note of thanks here is always a really great thing to do. So you can put in whatever you want there. Putting in your church name, this is your tax ID. This should autofill from the tax ID located on your account, but that'll be your tax ID, your church name, and your church address. All of this will autofill. If you want to change, it's going to pull in the administrator on the account. You can put in accountant. I can say church admin. You can put in a signature. I don't have a signature to upload here, but if you had an image of a signature, you could do that and it would drop in on the statement. So after you've done all that, all you've got to do is click Generate Statements. The system is then going to do its magic, and it's going to pull in all of those donations, bundle them based upon whatever criteria you have set, and then you'll be able to view those statements. I'm going to open my screen a little bit wider here so you can see this. But yeah, so you're going to see all of them here by the donor's name, and then their email address, and then their address. Then you're going to see this email button and this print button. In this moment, you do have this merge button here. So I wanted to point that out. If you are running these statements and you are noticing that you have a duplicate here, you can merge together those duplicates real easily. Shouldn't have any duplicates, but if you do by chance have a duplicate, you can click that merge button. So from here, you can email them one person at a time. So let's say I want to email it to Haley. I just click this email button and that would email it to her. And Bob, email, or you can click this email all button up here at the top. By clicking that email all button, it would automatically just push out a giving statement to everyone in your list automatically. And then everyone would have their giving statement and the job would be done, right? You would be able to check that off your to-do list. Or you can click print, and then this will actually print all of the statements. So you'll see if I click print, it'll pull up, do you want to print these for the 4 donors? You click print, and then it's going to pull open and process the statements, and then you'll actually be able to view all of the statements here. This is a test account, so things look a little funky, but that's exactly what it would look like, right? You have your statement here. Thanks for donating, all of that needed legal information, and then a list of all of those donations. And then you could print those. You could put them in envelopes, however you want to do that at your church. But basically, that's how that would work. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything on this side. Of course, if you want to click on this, view the information, that's pretty much everything. The one last thing I did want to point out in this is our developers have worked to make this easy for you. So you'll see right here, this is the one I just ran. I'm looking now at the previous batches area. January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, you'll see 4 statements generated on September 13th, 2022. That is going to create that batch right there for you. You could even do this today. And then come January, all you've got to do is come in here and click this regenerate tax statements. And then that would pull in any transactions that occurred in between now and the time you're running that statement. It would pull all of those in to update all of the statements. The reason they did this is so that you could quickly and easily pull those up without it having to process a ton. You'll see it quickly and easily pull up. You'll see the difference here is that I have the same statement range, January 1st, 2022 to December 31st in both of these, but you'll see 4 statements and 2 statements. And that's because this one was generated on August 8th and this one was generated on September 13th. But if I click on this button to regenerate those statements, it'll walk me back through all of this information. But then once I click regenerate statements, it'll generate them again for that date range and update from 2 statements to 4 statements. So that's what the previous batches area, and you'll now see 4 statements and 4 statements. So hopefully you were able to see that is pretty easy, pretty simple. I hope it proved to be helpful to you. That is exactly how you would run through running those tax statements within Tithely. And just as I noted, just a quick Tithely tip here, your statement generation will be saved, but if you have new donations come in during that time frame, make sure and regenerate. That's what I was talking about by clicking that regenerate button. All right, that is everything for Tithely Giving. That's how you would run your tax statements there. Of course, if you have questions as we go along, drop those in that question box. We'll be happy to answer those at the end. For now, though, I am going to go ahead and pass this over to Maggie, and she's going to walk us through how to run those tax statements specifically in Elvanto. So, Maggie, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. I hope you guys still have some brain space left over to explore creating and preparing giving statements in Elvanto. So just to give you a quick overview, what I would like to focus on today, I kind of have the tendency to dive deep into each and every detail. That's due to my background in bookkeeping for many, many years. So this is like my passion. This is my world. But I really want to focus on showing you how to customize your giving statement templates in Alvanto, and then also explore some of the different ways how you can generate giving statements, how you can print them, how you can publish them, or even email them out to your donors. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see if I will be able to do that. There we go. Okay. Are you guys able to see?
Yeah, looks great.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Because I cannot see you guys anymore. So I'm just going to be talking to my screen.
Good. Everything looks great.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Awesome. So as Mark said, once you have kind of followed his little tips and tricks on how to verifying that the integration is working, if you are integrating Tithely Giving with Alvanto, once you made sure that all of your batches are matching up with your bank statement, I would then actually recommend going in and checking to see if there are any duplicate people profiles. Like Mark showed in the over in Tithely Giving, you can actually merge giving statements at the end of generating giving statements. That's not possible in Alvanto. So that would be actually one of your first steps as you are checking your data, checking your transactions. One of those steps would be to check for any duplicate profiles in Alvanto. So once you click on duplicates, it will bring over a list of any profiles that share similarities, and you'll just be able to walk through the step-by-step guide to merging those together. For the simple reason that if you would keep both duplicate profiles, at the end of the day, you would also generate two separate giving statements for the donor. So that would be one additional step that I would add. But once you are feeling good about your transactions, about your data, I would say go ahead and let's take a look at the giving statement templates, which you can find within your settings. Also, on that note, if you are following along and you're realizing, oh, I don't have access to this, go ahead and reach out to one of your church admins or staff members that would be able to set up the appropriate access permissions for you to be able to access the financial area within Alvanto settings. Because within this area, I'm going to go ahead and just really highlight the most important items around giving statements. So settings, financial, and now I'm just scrolling down here within the first tab. This is where you'll be able to type in your giving statement message that will then correspond and create the placeholder that you can insert on the giving statements. That's the statement message. Again, like Mark said, this is where you can thank your donors for their generosity and their faithfulness in supporting the ministry. Also a great spot to plug in for all of our US churches here, your EIN number, that favorite IRS message of, no goods or services were received or exchanged for this donation. And then that will be that placeholder that will get placed on the giving template that I will show you in just a second. Also, if you have multiple campuses, multiple locations, you can also choose to write out some specific location messages for those donors at those different campuses. All righty, let's scroll back up. We're going to navigate to the Giving Statement Template tab, which if you are new to Alvanto, or this is your first time using Alvanto to generate giving statements, Alvanto will have a pre-configured giving template that's ready to use for you. So feel free to just stick with it. Use that for your giving statements. But if you feel like you would like to customize it a little bit more, tweak it, by all means, Alvanto will provide you those opportunities to tweak those giving statements. And I will show you how to do that next. So I have prepared this giving statement 2022 giving template. When I click into it, on the first tab, it will allow us to plug in a header text, also footer text at the bottom of the screen. Next, we will see kind of the main body of our giving statement. So again, this is a perfect place where you can utilize any kind of placeholders that are available within Alvanto. at the end of the day, just to make your life easier. So you can plug in the statement church name placeholder, and your church name will generate on each statement. Same if you use recipient's name, giving, not giving number, but statement address, placeholder. All of those will then obviously generate the appropriate information for the recipient. You can also actually plug in your church logo in one of those columns as well. So if you click on this image, you'll be able to drop in your logo as well. I like to make things pretty, so I always like to explore those options. Then obviously this will be the main area of where the system will generate a list of donations and transactions, as well as a little bit of an overview for the donor of what they have given over the year. And then last but not least, at the bottom of the page, you will have a spot to plug in the donor's address. And then again, that's where that statement message placeholder comes in, which we just generated over in the other tab. All right, what else can I show you here? Obviously, if you are not 100% satisfied with the column layouts, you can actually click on over into Setup, where you'll be able to adjust those columns. There are several different options, again, to choose from. This page will also allow you to adjust any of the margins of the page. This comes especially handy when you are using window-faced envelopes to mail out your giving statements. Quick note from my experience, this is probably an area that may require a little bit more tweaking. So just make sure that you allow yourself enough time, give yourself grace to get that down where it will fit perfectly in your giving envelopes. But yeah, once you are satisfied with your template, don't forget to hit the save button. Always like to point that out. But once you're ready, go ahead and go back to your layout and click Preview Giving Statement. It will take you to this page where at this point you can kind of verify that you are satisfied with the layout. You can download this as a PDF, save it for your records, but you can also start printing this test page and then just kind of double check and see if everything is aligning perfectly with your giving envelopes. So that would be step one, or step two, actually. Step one was verifying all of your transaction information. Step two now was to start building your giving statement template. And now comes the fun part where where I'm going to show you how you can generate those giving statements. So I want you to kind of decide, do I want to only mail out those giving statements, or would I be open to the idea of emailing those giving statements or even publishing them to the member area in Alvanto for all those members that have access to the member area and their giving? So they will not only be able to see their individual transactions that come throughout the year as you are updating their profile, but they will also be able to access their giving statement digitally. Tough word. All right, so let's start with the first route. If you are planning on printing and mailing out your giving statements, I would recommend to come over here into Financial, to go into your reports, and to work with your giving statement report. So this kind of opens up several different options for you. You can generate giving statements for everyone that has given to your church, to your organization within the given and specified time range. Also, which, this kind of happens frequently, once you do send out your giving statements and you have that one person that says, hey, I've misplaced my giving statement, can you send that to me one more time? You'll be able to just specifically also generate that giving statement for the person that has lost theirs. Instead of running a statement for everyone, you can just specifically run one for individuals as well. Next up, you are going to decide if you want to group the giving statements by families or if you wanted to generate them by individuals. If you choose the family route, Alvanto will give you another option to separate the primary and spouse, their giving statement, from any other family members. So that's an additional option for you to choose from. Next, we will choose our date range, and then we can find our giving statement template. So like I said, I created this one earlier. So I'm going to select this one. Once we run our giving statements, and you do not want to mess around with window envelopes, you can also come back to the same place and actually generate address labels for your envelopes. So that's also fun option. And last but not least, next you will just need to decide what kind of transactions do we want to include on this giving statement, and who are we generating the statement for. So you can include your tax deductible giving, non-tax deductible giving. You can say, well, I'm going to start with this campus today. Next week, we will worry about the North Campus, for example. You can decide, I only want to send my giving statement to a specific people category. So for our example today, I have created the donors 2022 people category. And then you can also specify even further based on demographics, and even leave off any kind of accounts that you don't want to include. By default, if you leave all of these selections blank, Alvanto will include all donors, all people categories, all locations. And the frequent question that I've been getting is around donors that have passed away throughout the year and they have been marked as deceased in the system. Good news for you is that you don't have to worry about doing anything different. Alvanto will still recognize that they have given throughout the year and will generate a giving statement for that person to be forwarded to the family members. All right, but now we are ready to click generate, which will take us to this next page that I already prepared to save us some time. So now you will see all of the different columns and placeholders that I have inserted. You will see my list of transactions, a quick overview, as well as the church address, donor address, and my statement message. So now I can go ahead and again, download this as a PDF, save it for my records. I can go ahead and start printing my giving statements and start folding them, assembling all the volunteers to help me stuff the envelopes. So that's where all the fun begins. But yeah, so that is the paper mail route. But let's take a couple more minutes to show you how you can generate giving statements that can be emailed or published to the member area. So if you decide you would like to take that route, I would recommend clicking on Financial and following the path for your giving statements. Once you arrive here, you will click on Publish Giving Statements, which will take you to a similar screen that we were on before. The options are not as extensive, but still very helpful and very useful. So you will just follow these exact same steps that I showed you before. And then you will click Save, which right now I didn't make any selection, so it will not give us any data. But again, I prepared this giving statement right here. And this is the route that I prefer to take. So once this is saved, this giving statement is published in the member area. So again, members, users that do have access to the member area in Alvanto, they will be able to log in, they will be able to access their giving, and they will be able to see their giving statement. Nobody else's, just theirs. But if you also wanted to follow up with an email, I would recommend going ahead and clicking Send. And what I love about this option, it just makes it so easy. I would typically say, I want to email only, and Alvanto will tell me, hey, Maggie, there are 8 recipients that don't have an email address saved in Alvanto. So I will show you what to do about those in just a second. So I will just focus on preparing my email, making sure that the unique URL has been inserted here. So once you send the email, again, each donor will have their unique URL created for them to be able to access their giving statement, again, as a PDF. Obviously, you will also be able to send yourself a test email just to make sure everything is looking great. But yeah, once you have verified everything, you can click the send button and Alvanto will send those giving statements out to your donors. Now, what about the 8 recipients that did not have an email address? So we can actually come back here, and instead of clicking send, you'll be able to click down into this menu to be able to access a printed version of those statements. And what I love is you will have 4 different options. So if you wanted to follow up and just print those statements for the donors that we were not able to reach via email, you can generate just the statements for those 8 individuals that did not have an email. Again, print, it will take you to the screen right here, where again, it just repeats itself. You can download, you can print, and get that giving statement into the hands of the donors that way. So I hope that this has given you a good overview. I'm going to see if I can stop sharing. There we go. But yeah, please feel free to drop in any questions. We'll be glad to follow up with anything that you still have questions about. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Maggie. Well, everyone, I know that is a lot of information on how to run those from the Tithely giving side and the Alvanto side, but I do hope that was helpful for you. I want to go over, we do have just some best practices. So as we have seen people run tax statements here at Tithely, these are just some of my best practices. So number one, like Maggie said, our preferred way is definitely going to be to email those tax statements. You will find it easier if you do email them. So what you need to do now is start getting some email addresses now if you don't have them. I understand fully that not everyone in your church knows how to operate an email, but if they do know how to use their email, we do recommend that just because it's going to save you so much time. And the system has been pre-configured to push out those emails automatically, so that you don't have to, fight it later by getting the windowed envelope or making stickers or doing all of that. It's just so much easier and faster. Next is merge any duplicates in your account. I do recommend merging duplicates in your account right now. Start ahead of time so that you're not having to do that. If you do have any duplicates, that would need to be done on the wherever you're doing the tax statements at. So if that's Tithely, Alvanto, merging together those duplicates so that those tax statements, one donor doesn't get 2 statements. And then use this time. I always like to say that in this moment where you can come in there and you can edit that cover letter, you can put in a personal note, to go ahead and just put in a quick note about encouraging people to start using recurring giving. This is just a moment where you do communicate out to your church. And so in that, you can be like, hey, thank you so much for your donations over this past year. One way to make it easier in 2023 is to set up recurring giving. They can do that real easy through your current giving form. All they got to do is just click on that recurring giving button that gives automatically for them. And then my last best practice is make a plan now. Don't wait for January 15th to turn around and then you feel the weight and the pressure from everyone at your church to send all the tax statements immediately. Make a plan now so that your life is easier here in 3 months. All right, now we have some time for some Q&A. I know that we had some questions put out there, so we're going to do our best to go through them. If you have any other questions, go ahead and click on that question box in the lower right-hand corner, and we would happily answer those. And so the first question I see here is Tyra. Tyra, you said, can we compare their yearly pledge to their actual donations? And so that's a really good question. On the actual tax statement, you're going to be able to see the total amount that they give. You're going to be able to see all those donations there. But to actually compare that against their pledged amount, it wouldn't show up within the actual tax statement. And so within Tithely, you're going to see this pledge campaigns area. From here, you would be able to go into the actual pledge. I don't think I actually have one that people have given towards, but you'd be able to come into the actual pledge campaign and view the donor and see how far along those donors are. And so you'll be able to see all of that information here. So that's where you would actually view that, not within the statements area. Unfortunately, no, it does not compare it to the pledged amount. Bernie, you said, why would a giver be missing on a report? We would hope that they're not missing on any reports. there's not many reasons why they would be. Name or email address, as long as those are in there, the donor would be represented. So the only thing you would have is if you needed to email part of them and then mail part of them, this based upon the preference of that donor. Okay, Tyra, you ask, can we attach a letter to this tax statement? Example, a pastor's letter. Yes, within the tax statements process within within Tithely, where we updated that cover letter right here to say this is your official tax statements. Thanks so much for donating this year to your church, to our church. You can put in anything you want there. If the pastor wants to write a letter, absolutely, you can put in the pastor's signature. Whatever you want, yes, you can do that. And then Maggie, I'll let you say kind of how to do that in Elvanto.
Yes, absolutely. So just to kind of also maybe speak to the question from the Elvanto point of view when it comes to comparing pledges, that if you create pledges in Elvanto, so just keep in mind Tithely pledges, Elvanto pledges are two different tools. But if you do have pledges recorded in Elvanto, those will actually show on your giving statements at the end of the year if you choose to include that column. And then when it comes to attaching letters, that is also possible. So when you are emailing out those statements, so in that same window where I explained setting up your email, the giving link, if you scroll down right in that area where it says send a test email, it will also give you the opportunity to attach a letter PDF to be included in the email as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And then one last question we have here is, can you run an individual statement in Tithely like you can in Elvanto? Yes, absolutely. So from your tax statements area here, you can just pull up those statements and then you'll be able to view everyone and then you can send them one at a time. So if I want to click here, send this, I can email automatically to Haley and then she will get that email. You can print one at a time. If you just want to print Bob's, you can just print Bob's as well. And it'll just generate that one just so you can run it for that one person. You would follow the process as though you're going to run it for everyone, and then it would pull up all of them, and then you could search by name, email, receipt number, anything like that. And then you would be able to view that one. Great question. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I'm seeing for now. If I've missed your question, please shout me out in the chat, let me know, and then we will try to address it. And then I know that we did move rather quickly today. I do understand that we had to make sure and get it all in time. So if you have other questions as you go along, please let us know. If you think of any questions in the next few minutes, drop them in there. And then, as I said, this recording is going to be sent over to you at the conclusion of this call. So feel free, take a look at it, pause it, back it up, slow us down, anything you need to do so that you can view that and you can run your statements yourself. So if you have any questions after we finish up the call today, please email those over to support@tithe.ly and they will be the ones to be able to help you. Our incredible support team is going to be able to help you with any of those questions. We like to take this opportunity to invite you to join our Facebook group. So we have a Facebook group called the Tithely Insider Official group. And so you can join there, join in on the conversation of other pastors and leaders, other accountants, other bookkeepers, other people that are working within the Tithely system. You may get some really great tips and tricks on what to do in there. So we do encourage you to join that within Facebook. A couple last things. We do also offer on-site training. So if you are working on the Tithely account, your Elvanto account, and you're like, man, I would love someone to actually come to my church and teach me how to do this. We have a team that will come out to you. They'll fly out to you, drive out to you, however we can get there, and we will come visit you. And so you can go to get.tithe.ly/onsite training. And then you will be able to see all the information that we have there. You'll put in a inquiry for it, and then we will come back to you and give you a quoted price on the on-site training. So if you're interested in that, please take advantage. If you want more training that is not on-site, you can come to this app.livestorm.co/Tithely tithe-ly. Maggie, if you would go ahead and drop that in the chat, that would be helpful. This is just a link to some of our other training materials. Oops. We have trainings focused on finance, comms, and peoples, those different areas that I broke down at the beginning of the different product suites. Those are free, always available to you. So please take a look at those, and you can use those as any training that you would like. And then our next webinar that we have is on November 16th. We are not going to be doing a Tithely University in October, since that is when Tithely Next is, but we will have another Tithely University training webinar on November the 16th that is going to focus on end of year giving, so how to increase your giving for the last month of the year around the holidays, some best practices there, and then also we're going to recap and talk about tax statements again so that you are prepared to do that. So end of year giving and tax statements, mark your calendar, November the 16th, 11:30 a.m. PST. We'll be sending out more information about that and how to register for that as we do get closer. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking an hour out of your day to be here. We truly appreciate it. Again, if you have any other questions as you go along in the Tithely account, we are here for you. The heart of our team is to work for you and with you. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free and reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you. And I hope you've all have taken something from today. It's been a great time hanging out with everyone for an hour. So let us know how we can help you, and everyone have a great fall day. Bye-bye, everyone.